I'll now call the December 2nd, 2008 meeting of the Iron County Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Johnson, will you give the invocation?
Yes, I will. Let's pray, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, and we thank you again for this opportunity to serve you and to serve the people of this county. And, Father, we just pray that you'll give your wisdom to us. Father, you'll be gracious to everyone here and that you'll bless everyone here. I pray we'll do the right thing in accordance with you and what you would have us to do, that it will honor your name and that it will bless the people of this county. I ask your blessing upon my fellow board members and our staff, that you'll give us wisdom through these proceedings, and we ask it in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Let's all stand now for the pledge and allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Mashman, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, only one adjustment. That would be an addition under closed session. Do need a closed session for a personnel matter. That's 143-318.11A6. 143-318.11A6 for personnel. Those are the adjustments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mashburn. Are there any additions or corrections to be made to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, if it pleases you, under new business, I have an item I'd like to bring up. It's concerning the crime lab.
Okay.
It's an issue that was brought to my attention that shouldn't be controversial, but
okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda with this addition?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. I now declare this meeting to be in a public hearing to review case number 0811-1, a request from Sammy and Jane Deal to rezone 5 acres from residential agriculture to light manufacturing conditional district. Mr. Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Case tonight is a request by Mr. Sammy Deal for a rezoning from RA residential agricultural zoning district to light manufacturing with conditions. The first slide shows the surrounding zoning and the zoning designation of the property. The property is at the end of Fanjoy Road, which is a small two-lane road running off Salisbury Highway, heading north and dead-ending into the Sammy Dill property. Actually, Mr. Dill owns this larger tract, a little bit over 200 acres, and the only portion of the property being requested for rezoning is a 5-acre tract outlined in red. It's near the city of Statesville, which you can see over on the left of the slide, and you can see the surrounding zoning designations in this vicinity. Future land use map shows residential as a future land use. 2003 Highway 70 corridor plan was adopted by the County Commission. It worked on this plan with the City of Statesville staff as well, and it highlighted industrial zoning designations along the Highway 70 corridor. And since that time, of course, Highway 70 has been extended as a 4-lane facility all the way to the county line. It shows the Dill property north of the corridor as remaining residential. The landfill, county landfill, you can see nearby on Twin Oaks Road, which runs off Fanjoy. And some of the Fanjoy property, of course, as you get back towards Salisbury Highway, is shown as industrial on this plan. Here's an aerial view of the vicinity showing the subject property as well as some surrounding properties. Another highlight showing the ownership of the nearby tracts. One of the conditions of this request was that with the rezoning to light manufacturing, Mr. Dill would agree to a site-specific plan of development. What he hopes to do with the light manufacturing designation is to manufacture trusses, mostly wood trusses for houses. This shows a future facility for the manufacture of trusses. Get back one more time here. At the end of the cul-de-sac for Fanjoy, and the staff itself would be reviewing the site-specific plan, providing, of course, that the property is rezoned and Mr. Dill follows through with his future business plans. Here's some slides showing the subject property. Most of the property is being used in agriculture right now. These are chicken houses. The site plan that you saw in the previous slide would be involving using the property to the immediate east of this chicken house over here, right here. The development would take place on 5 acres of the greater tract in Mr. Dill's. A view looking east, across the street on Fanjoy, looking west again on Fanjoy Road. And that's the end of the slideshow. The staff, as well as the board, is recommending against this request based on the fact that it's out of compliance with the Highway 70 corridor plan, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Warren?
Mr. Warren, I'm assuming that the biggest problem with this is the fact is its distance from Highway 70. If it was closer to Highway 70, you might be more inclined to make a recommendation for it. Is that?
I think so. Along with the distance, which is approximately half a mile to the nearest industrially zoned property, which happens to be in the city of Statesville, the board discussed the condition of the road. It's a typical farm-to-market road, a 2-lane road, and the truck traffic. I will say, though, that when Mr. Dill hosted a get-together with the neighbors, there was 7 of the neighbors that attended, that was discussed, as well as what the hours of operation would be, and there was no opposition from the neighbors that did attend that get-together to discuss his future plans. But I do agree that if it were closer to Highway 70, that would make the board and staff perhaps reconsider their recommendation.
But the hours of operation were not a condition that was...
No, sir. The only 2 conditions were the use itself and the site plan.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Warren.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either for or against this request? If so, would you come to the podium and state your name, please?
I'm Sammy Deal. We own that property there. He said something about the small 2-lane road going down. Well, Fanjoy Road is the same road that goes to the landfill that goes down to our house. The only difference is a piece of asphalt. I mean, it's the same road going down through. It's the same width. So the road shouldn't be an issue. He mentioned something about the landfill was over here. That was pretty close to it. And that was kind of rezoned something else. Well, the landfill now has bought the land right beside me, 75 acres. So they're my neighbor. So that should enlighten the my property there. You know, we own all the property around it. You know, it's not going to be an eyesore. A while ago, you seen my chicken houses. Those chicken houses are 23 years old. They look like a brand new. This building is going to be the same way. You know, my neighbors don't have any objections to me doing this down here. Matter of fact, I brought some of them with me. If they'll stand up, I have no. If y'all stand up, I'd appreciate it. I have no neighbors that is against this. You know, it is going to create some jobs, and I really don't see why it can't be passed. I mean, you know, really, I mean, you know, it's going to create jobs. It's not going to harm anyone. It's not going to harm anything. So, you know, I believe common sense would let me do this.
Any questions from Mr. Deal?
Mr. Deal, Mr. Warren mentioned truck traffic. Do you anticipate a lot of additional truck traffic bringing materials into you?
There'll be some. There'll be some. You know, I know. You know, they've got to bring the material in. You know, but I mean, you know, like I say, it is going to increase some down there, but it won't be all that much. In other words, now we've got a right small truck traffic down there because they miss these plants up. You know, they miss it. They've not got you know good signs, and they miss it. And they come down there and turn around. Well, I asked the state to put a turnaround in down there to where these trucks could actually turn around. Now we've got a real nice turnaround down there, you know, for the trucks to turn around down there. Okay. So as far as the truck traffic, that shouldn't, you know, you're talking about thousands of trucks going down to the landfill every day, and it's on the same road.
So any increase would just be minimal.
Oh yeah, yes, sir. It'd be minimal.
Mr. Deal, how many houses are on the road between the split there? It goes out to the landfill and down at the cul-de-sac.
Let me see if I can't count them. It'd be 13. About 13, and like I say, 90% of the people that lives on us down here, the other people are for it. They just had something else couldn't come.
I've got Mr. Pope, are we where are we on the spot zoning?
He's pretty close.
Okay, in commissioner speak, is this spot zoning or is it not?
It's a complex determination as to whether something constitutes a spot. I expect if this was put under a microscope, it could be considered that. Generally, or a factor I think the court would determine important in determining whether it was a spot or not is the degree of neighbor opposition. And that's minimal. That's a factor that would mitigate against the finding of a spot. Otherwise, it's fairly obviously a spot.
Not sure how to ask this question.
Sure.
Is that cluster of individual property owners that are right at the end of this road, is that who stood up? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know y'all. You know,
yeah.
Y'all could be all of his cousins for all I know.
No, they're all neighbors. And they live on that road, and like I say, most of them live right down there at the end of the road.
At the end of the road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Pope, is there a statute of limitations on spot zoning? For instance, if someone move into the neighborhood and then could they sue for spot zoning, even though the neighbors now agree that it's probably a good thing?
Yeah, there's a 90-day statute of limitations on challenging zoning. Very short.
So,
Any other questions, Mr. Deal? Mr. Pope? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak either for or against? Sorry, I didn't.
David Moose. This small cluster you're talking about closest to the zoning site, I'm Sammy's closest neighbor. I live right in that area. My mother-in-law and father-in-law also live in that center section. I don't have a good laser. There are no more houses in that cluster other than my house and my in-law's house. And there is truck traffic on that for the chicken houses or whatever. But I have noticed one thing, a speed limit. We don't have a speed limit sign, but everybody, you know, maybe it'd be a good idea to have a speed limit sign. But the truck traffic shouldn't be a problem. But just being Sammy's closest neighbor, I don't see where it would be a problem for him to have a business there. I mean, it's fairly rural. There's nobody across the street except, oh, excuse me, Owen lives there. I'm just speaking for Sammy. I feel like it'd be good for him, and I don't see that it'd be detrimental to our neighborhood. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Moose. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Moose? Anyone else like to speak?
Can I ask Mr. Warren? Can I ask Mr. Warren some questions?
Okay, Mr. Warren.
The planning board recommended denying the request because it wasn't, it didn't follow the current land use plan. We have a proposed land use plan that's coming our way. Would it, under that land use plan, would it be denied as well?
That's a good question. As you know, we're about midway through the process of creating a draft for the board's consideration. And given the fact that the landfill has expanded, as Mr. Dill said, there is property immediately adjoining Mr. Dill's property that the county's acquired for future use by the landfill. However, that's, according to the director, a number of years off before it may be utilized. But given the fact that we've got a comprehensive land use plan, we are examining every area and every corridor of the county. So I'm not in a position to say or give you much opinion on that.
I'm kind of torn a little bit here. I mean, you know, when all the neighbors show up and say it's okay with them, that's tough. Because our plan says that it shouldn't be there, and they're saying it's okay if it's there. Zoning cases are no fun.
Mr. Chair, may I ask one question? Mr. Warren, when was this plan put in place?
The Highway 70 plan was put into place in 2003.
Thank you.
Any other question, Mr. Warren? Okay, thank you, Mr. Warren. Seeing anyone else wish to speak? Seeing
I have
none,
one comment, just that I'm in favor of the rezoning.
Seeing none, I declare this public hearing closed, and will now entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to offer a motion that we grant this request and amend the US 70 East Corridor Future Land Use Plan. This motion to approve the zoning map and amendment and make a finding that the approval is consistent with the adopted US 70 East Corridor Future Land Use Plan, and that said approval is reasonable and in the public interest due to consistency with the US 70 East Corridor Future Land Use Plan. The result, said approval furthers the goals and objectives of the US 70 East Corridor Future Land Use Plan. My motion, I'll admit at face seems to contradict what I just said, but I don't think that a land use plan or in any way ever jeopardize the right of someone to use their property in the way that they choose if it cannot be demonstrated that will have hurt anyone else. And I think that each time we debate these land use plans, I think that's the collective spirit and philosophy of this board. For that reason, I offer that motion.
Mr. Johnson, does that include both portions of that, the amendment of the
land use plan and rezoning? Yes, sir.
Okay, both.
If that's acceptable to the chair, yes, sir.
Yes, sir, that'd be fine.
But this is a conditional request?
Well, the condition will be put in place unless we amend it.
Okay.
And my motion, I don't offer any other amendments than what's in.
Okay, all right, so it's restricted that if they do anything other than use it for a woods and metal products plant, it doesn't, the zoning goes away.
Have to come back and ask for an amendment at some point in the future.
Okay.
Is that right, Mr. Warren? That's right.
The motion was made to approve the request by Mr. Johnson. Are there any other discussions? If none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion is approved 5-0. Administrative matters. Item number A. Request for approval of budget amendment number 26 for the appropriation of funds from Lowe's Charitable and Educational Foundation for a horticultural demo project. Mr. Ken Vaughn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I came before the board back early in the year to ask permission to apply for a grant for this horticultural project from the Lowe's Charitable and Educational Foundation. They have seen fit to fund this request in the amount of $5,000 for enhancements to this project located behind the Ag Center. I might mention that they have an interest in this project because a couple of years ago they gave us $10,000, but now they've seen fit to come back and grant us another $5,000 to do some further enhancements for this project, which is used by master gardeners as a working project. We use it for educational demonstration and that type of thing. And the master gardeners would be the ones that would do the work that we're going to use this money for, so there is no direct cost to the county as far as additional labor or supplies. And I respectfully ask for permission to amend our budget.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Any questions, Mr. Vaughn? If not, Chair requests a motion on this request.
Motion to accept.
Motion is made by Mr. Robertson.
Nope. Me.
One of these guys.
I know we look alike.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item B, request from the Sheriff's Department for approval to apply for a gang intervention and prevention grant. Mike Phelps.
The Sheriff's Office is asking to apply for a gang intervention grant. The amount to be requested will be $75,000. We'll have a 25% match, which we would take from the seized funds. This grant would be a continuation of, to be able to continue the programs that we started with our past gang grant, which had a athletic component as well as a fine arts and creative component to it as well.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Anyone have a question of Mike?
I had a question about the amount. And I said grand total of 83. Should be 93. Is that right?
Right, we'll be asking for $75,000 for the grant, and then we'll have a $18,000 match, which would be 25%.
What he's saying is that should total up to 93.
Right, yes, sir.
83.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Is there a motion to approve this request?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Robertson to approve the request. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Oh, I believe you're back up, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Item C, request from the Sheriff's Department for approval to apply for a technology improvement grant.
This grant will be to purchase a new computer and software program for our crime analyst to assist him in crime and analyzing the crime and projecting crime trends and working with CID to develop initiatives to help in crime fighting. The amount we're asking for is $15,000 with a 25% match of $4,000. So it's a $19,000 grant.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Phillips?
That also would come from seized funds as well, to match.
No other questions. Is there a motion to approve this grant, this request?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made to approve this request. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Carries 5-0. Item D, request from the Sheriff's Department to approve budget amendment number 29 to recognize $32,000 in federal equity sharing funds to be used for the purchase of a training simulator.
This training simulator is a computer-generated simulation whereby we can use it to train our officers with firearms and weapons, as well as tasers, pepper spray, or mace. It comes with standard scenarios already built into it. However, it does have the capability where we could actually make our own scenarios, and our officers would train in more real-life situations that our officers would actually face. Asking to move this money from seized funds to purchase this unit. Also, this would be the first unit from this company in the state of North Carolina, and we're getting this price because they're going to use us as a beta site to allow other agencies to come in and look at this equipment. So that's the reason we're getting a discounted price on it. So.
Thank you. Questions on this issue?
Motion to approve.
Motion's made to approve this request. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Thank you. Announcements of vacancies occurring on the boards and commissions. One announcement for Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee. Two announcements for the Information and Referral Board. 9 announcements for the Criminal Justice Partnership Program. 3 announcements for the Home and Community Care Block Grant Committee. 2 announcements for Purchase of a Development Rights Committee. 4 announcements for the Recreation Advisory Board. And 4 announcements for the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Appointments to the boards and commissions. Adult Care and Home Community Advisory Committee, 4 appointments.
Motion to table.
Motion's table. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Statesville Planning Board, ETJ, 1 appointment.
Motion to table, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to table. All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Table motion. Nursing Home Advisory Committee, 3 appointments. Your turn.
Motion to table, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made to table this. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried to table. Criminal Justice Partnership Program Committee, 1 appointment.
Motion to table.
Motion made to table this to further meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Mooresville Planning Board, ETJ, 1 appointment.
Mr. Chairman, I have one person to appoint, Joseph Thompson.
Okay, is there further nominations? Not, I move they be closed and Joseph Thompson be accepted by acclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Joseph Thompson. Is there any unfinished business? I guess we unfinished our business yesterday, didn't we? Yep. Public comment period. Does anyone like to speak to the board tonight in the audience? Seeing done, new business, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, I had a visit with the District Attorney-elect, Ms. Sarah Kirkman. And she made me aware of something that we had not been aware of. You know, we recently appropriated some money from C's funds to establish a crime lab, to cut down on the amount of time and turnover from sending things to the SBI lab. And she's of the opinion that the way the legislation was written, that there are certain specific sites that are mentioned in that legislation, one being the SBI lab itself, and then Mecklenburg County's lab, and I think the other one's over in Wake County. And that because our name is not mentioned in that legislation, then the standing in court could be diminished if lab work is done in our lab and then introduced in court. Also, she's of the opinion that that if it was mentioned in the legislation, that it would enhance our ability to gain work from other counties who would bring their work for here to us to do, which one of the ways that the Sheriff's Department promoted it, it would generate some revenue. So if it pleases the chair, I would like for direct our clerk, if she could, to research that legislation and see if it is indeed worded as Ms. Kirkman seems to be sure that it is. And let's craft a letter to our legislative delegation, see if we can get that amended to include us in that.
You think we're not included because we didn't have the crime lab as the reason we weren't included? Or?
Well, yeah, certainly, but you know, the legislation was written prior to us having the crime lab.
Right.
And she's the opinion, having gone to the district attorney's school, that it won't have the standing that it should have if it's not mentioned specifically in the legislation, and it may prevent us the ability to procure contract work from other law enforcement agencies.
I think that'd be in order. I think it probably would require a motion.
Okay, I'd offer that motion if it pleases you, sir.
I think motion's been made to direct our clerk to speak to our delegation.
I'd just like for her to write a letter and you sign it. If that pleases you, sir.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, a like sign.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. County Manager's report.
Mr. Chair, only one item I want to bring to your attention. Back on November the 19th, the county conducted its wellness fair for employees and dependents of employees. This is something we do on an annual basis and usually has been very successful. This year we had 583 employees or dependents go through the wellness fair. Many of them participate in the screenings that that were there, everything from eye screenings to blood sugar testing to blood pressure screenings and so forth. And then we also have participation from a lot of the healthcare providers in the area. Of course, Iredell County Health Department, Iredell Memorial Hospital, Lowry Drug, Iredell Ice, Lake Norman Regional Medical Center, and that's just to name a few that participated in that. It was determined to be a very successful health fair or health screening program, and we also gave 294 flu shots that day. I mentioned that for one because I think it was quite an effort, and I would like to give credit to those that participated as well as those who did the planning. And of course, the Iredell County Health Department really leads the way on putting that together. But we also received some recognition from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners for our efforts in trying to do all that we can to curb the cost of health care for our employees, and obviously that also helps to curb the cost to the citizens as well when we can hold back our cost. And we did receive a check today in the amount of $4,690 to go toward our wellness program from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And other than that, the only other item I have, Mr. Chair, is in closed session.
Okay, thank you. If there's no other business, I move we enter into a closed session in accordance with GS 143-318 11A6 to discuss personnel matters. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign. We're now in closed session.
Out a book from the county library, or even eat in a restaurant, your county is working to provide programs and services that enhance our quality of life, protect us, and prepare us for the future. Counties create opportunity for coming generations by building and maintaining our public school facilities. Besides the money spent for buildings and grounds, counties put more than $2 billion each year into North Carolina's public school system. These funds are used to provide salary supplements to attract and retain top caliber teachers and hire additional classroom personnel to provide a better educational opportunity for our children. Counties enrich our lives by providing libraries that offer more than just books to read. Public libraries offer access to computers and the internet, educational programs for young children, as well as cultural activities, movie screenings, and community events. The great outdoors wouldn't be quite so great if it weren't for county efforts to protect farmland, preserve open space, and create and maintain parks and recreation facilities. County governments care for our environment in other ways too. On average, each North Carolinian generates 5.6 pounds of trash per day, creating 350 million tons of trash a week. Counties operate landfills to safely dispose of our waste so that it doesn't cause environmental problems, while recycling programs help reduce waste in landfills. Counties are also taking on an increasing role in providing clean water and wastewater treatment services to meet the needs of our growing population. County parks and recreation programs have something for absolutely everyone. From toddlers to seniors, sewing to swimming, nature classes to cooking classes, as well as athletic leagues and summer camps. A county government's responsibilities are not all fun and games. Counties also ensure our well-being so that we live in communities that are safe and secure. County sheriffs protect and preserve the peace, and counties also provide emergency medical response services and fund volunteer fire departments to watch over our health and safety. Many of the ways counties protect our citizens are harder to see, but they are no less vital and important. When you walk into a building or home, county inspectors have verified that the building meets safety codes. When you walk into a restaurant, you know what you're getting because county inspectors give sanitation grades to restaurants to reduce unsanitary practices and foodborne diseases. Health departments supply flu shots and other medical services for needy citizens, help control communicable diseases, and make available health education resources. These and other services are becoming even more necessary. By the year 2030, North Carolina is projected to grow from 9 million to 12 million people. The Census Bureau estimates we will be the 7th largest state in the nation. To accommodate this growth, counties will have to build at least 500 new schools in the next 20 years, or 1 new school every 2 weeks. Our growing population will tax our water supply and other natural resources, so county governments are already planning for tomorrow and taking the necessary steps to meet the challenges we will all face. All told, it's a pretty full day of work for your county government every day, but it doesn't stop there. County government, enhancing the quality of our lives and protecting our well-being today, while improving the future for all of North Carolina.
got to, Bill, we'll go back into open session and then move to reconvene. Now, what are you saying?
I do.
Move to adjourn the meeting to 3 o'clock Sunday.
Okay. I move that this board be back into open session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You want to make the motion, Marvin, since you haven't?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that to adjourn the meeting till 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Motion's made to reconvene at the same place.
Same place, same location.
Heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Move we adjourn the meeting. We already have, haven't we?